So we have a very simple rule. Okay. Whenever we come back from a holiday, within 3 days we have to book the next holiday. Even if it is 6 months late, no problems. You know, so it's not that you decide that you're going somewhere. Just book the flight tickets or train tickets or whatever you're doing. When you book that, you know that 3 months, 2 months, 6 months later you're going somewhere.
What's your fitness mantra? I mean,
it's very simple. First is that I think so fitness has different meaning for different people. For me, fitness is all about how much energy you have during the day. Like I've never been a smoker in life, not even once. I eat mostly ghar ka khana, I eat a lot of juices and all that. So first is what you eat more or less decides how fit you're gonna be, right? All that. But I personally feel that in life your entire energy comes from your core. Okay, which is the core of your body, right? So your core has to be fittest. The day you gain weight, you're weakening your core. And core is not just required for you to run in life. Core is जहाँ से हिम्मत आती है.
So thank you so much, Piyush. मुझे वो दिन याद है जब आप 2018 में पिच करने के लिए घुसने वाले थे और मैं भी वहीं खड़ा था, पिच करने के लिए घुसने वाले थे साकेत में. There was a pitch happening from venture catalyst. हम लोग बहुत ही अर्ली स्टेज में थे दोनों. I could, we had a little bit of a chat on that day. और उसके बाद 2-3 बार मिले. But आज I am so excited to cover your story because it's great to see people who started with you and made a decent business which is now scaling very rapidly. So amazing to see your story, Piyush, and I'm excited to cover. He's a gaming sensation, by the way, right? So Rooter, the business that Piyush has built, is a gaming sensation. Let's hear. क्या है आपका business? कहाँ से आप आते हो? कैसे आपको trigger हुआ startup बनाने का? We would love to.
So firstly, very happy to be here, Akash. काश से आकाश एक चैनल है जो मैं बड़े Instagram में बहुत दिनों से फॉलो कर रहा हूँ. मैं आपको बता रहा था.
क्या बात है.
और मुझे लगता है शायद ही किसी ने 3-4 महीने के टाइम पीरियड में इतना अच्छा स्केल अचीव किया है फॉर अ गुड पर्पस दैट यू आर एक्चुअली एजुकेटिंग पीपल अबाउट हाउ टू गो अबाउट एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप. सो आई थिंक यू आर डूइंग अ ग्रेट जॉब. बहुत कम लोग टाइम निकाल के गिव बैक इतनी जल्दी करते हैं, व्हिच आई एम वेरी वेरी एक्साइटेड टू सी, एंड आई एम अ very ardent listener and viewer of your content.
Lovely.
So very happy to be here. But हाँ, I remember in 2018 when we met, पता है हमारी जर्नी बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है बिकॉज हम दोनों ने एक बड़े अच्छे इन्वेस्टर्स से पैसा रेज किया, वेंचर कैटलिस्ट, जिन्होंने बड़े सारे स्टार्टअप्स को सपोर्ट किया है और हम सबके रोल में उन्होंने बहुत अर्ली दे हैड अ ट्रस्ट इन अस. बट मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली इन दैट प्रोसेस ऑफ वेंचर कैटलिस्ट पिचिंग, विच इंक्लूड्स इवन नाउ, इवन हमारे करंट राउंड में भी वेंचर कैटलिस्ट के थ्रू वी रेज सम मनी फ्रॉम फैमिली ऑफिसेज एंड एंजल्स. We have met a lot of interesting entrepreneurs, like you and me met, and Piyush and I met, and Sumit from Coin DCX, and Shivi, and a lot of Vinayak from Videoverse. I think we are very excited because we remember that journey because we have been a part. It's like we gave exam very early in our career, और फिर हम लगता है कि वो कॉलेज से निकल के फिर हम बाहर आए and we are able to meet. So no, very excited to be here. Rooter is very interesting. As you rightly said, I think we are now set to do something bigger. Long way to achieve. Gaming बहुत बड़ी इंडस्ट्री है. 500 मिलियन गेमर्स हैं जो बढ़ के 700 मिलियन हो जाएंगे 3-4 साल में. अगर आप आसपास देखो आज के दिन में तो हर बच्चा, एक 7 साल से लेके एक यंग एडल्ट 25 साल तक लोग या तो गेम खेलते हैं या गेम देख रहे हैं लोगों को खेलते हुए, और बहुत लोग सोचते हैं क्या हो रहा है, बट विल टॉक अबाउट इट लेटर. बट Rooter is like India's largest game streaming and esports content platform by a margin. Like हमारा growth, we are the only one making revenue. We are in the top charts of sports category on Google Play Store, iOS Store, always in the top 35 to 50 growing apps in the country, and also the only gaming content app to cross 50 million. But most importantly, एक ऐसा platform जहाँ gamers के लिए बहुत कुछ है, और very excited to be doing it with 110 of my other colleagues, my co-founder Dipesh. Let's see, we are just getting started.
Great. तो Rooter एक गेमिंग प्लेटफॉर्म है, बट वो गेमिंग प्लेटफॉर्म करता क्या है? मतलब मैं समझ गया कि उसमें स्ट्रीमिंग होती है, बट डिड योर बिजनेस स्टार्ट एज अ स्ट्रीमिंग सर्विस या फिर ये कोई एक जर्नी का पार्ट है? मतलब क्योंकि ये स्ट्रीमिंग जो मेरे सुनने में आया है वो इज अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ अ नेसेंट कॉन्सेप्ट. right?
So I'll tell you, so Router didn't start to become a gaming platform.
Okay.
2016 में जब हमने कंपनी चालू की, Router का एक्चुअल मीनिंग फैन या स्पोर्ट्स फैन होता है. Literal, आप कहते हैं ना, whom are you rooting for? Exactly. That is where that word is. That is where the term has come from. And extremely lucky to have got this name. In fact, I really like your brand name as well. I think both of us have this thing in common, that we've got good branding.
Yes.
When it becomes big and
Sweet
probably
and
goes
short.
on television, I think it will make a lot of sense. But we'll get there. So in the first, Router शुरू हुआ था because we wanted to connect sports fans with each other. The idea was that एक sports fan जब sports match अकेले देखते हैं तो वो एक काफी अकेलापन होता है. और can there be a platform that will connect people following same teams or same players or same sport or something like that? That is how Router started. तो वो कॉन्सेप्ट था, वो स्केल थोड़ा सा हुआ, फिर वो ज्यादा स्केल नहीं हुआ, तो हम लोग मतलब वो प्रोडक्ट स्केल नहीं हो रहा था उस समय. बट in that process, in the first 3 years, we built our own streaming technology of live audio and live video. When I say our own streaming technology, it basically means कि हम कोई भी external service use करके streaming नहीं कराते हैं, because अगर आप external service use करोगे तो business scalable नहीं है, because the streaming cost can be very very exorbitant. और हमारा सबसे बड़ा advantage कह लो या सबसे बड़ा moat है कि we have built a very sustainable low cost in-house streaming service, जिसके on the top of it we are building Router. So streaming technology बनी जब हम sports करते थे, और फिर gaming अचानक एक दिन इंडिया में काफी बढ़ गया जब PUBG बढ़ा. 2018-19 में आपको याद होगा, सब कोई PUBG के बारे में बात करते हैं. तो हमें लगा कि इंडिया में भी एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म होगा जहां लोग गेम खेलने के बाद जब बैठ के दूसरे का कंटेंट देखेंगे तो वो एक इंडियन प्लेटफॉर्म बनेगा, वो एक इंडियन कम्युनिटी बनाएगा. और वहां से रूटर कोविड के वक्त वी पिवटेड. हमने स्पोर्ट्स छोड़ के गेमिंग में एंटर किया, और 3 साल हो गए हैं. आई थिंक इस 3 साल की जर्नी में ऐसा लगता है कि पिछले 7 साल की सारी लर्निंग एक साथ आ गई है. और बेसिकली वी आर बिल्डिंग अ वेरी वेरी लार्ज कम्युनिटी ऑफ गेमर्स. उस कम्युनिटी को बनाने के लिए हम गेमिंग कंटेंट, गेमिंग रील्स, गेमिंग वीडियोस, ई स्पोर्ट्स कंटेंट, ये सब के रीजन से पीपल आर कमिंग टुगेदर एंड आर कनेक्टिंग विद ईच अदर.
So people are actually coming to watch someone else play and learn and kind of debate about it, talk about it. That's what Router is
So
mostly about.
Gaming content is very similar to live sports content. ठीक है, हम बचपन में क्रिकेट खेलते थे. आज हम क्रिकेट जब देखते हैं तो हम क्यों देखते हैं? हम इसलिए देखते हैं कि हमें वो सेम एड्रेनलिन रश कह लो, वो सेम इमोशन आता है, राइट? जब आप किसी को गेम खेलते हुए देखते हैं, चाहे वो स्ट्रीम कर रहा हो, चाहे वो ई स्पोर्ट्स टूर्नामेंट खेल रहा हो, for a gamer the feeling is that you're almost doing, it's the next best substitute to not playing the game.
Yeah,
right sense. When you're watching it, you're going through that same motion. So you're right, there are multiple use cases. आप इसलिए देखते हो क्योंकि आप entertain होते हैं, आप इसलिए देखते हो क्योंकि उसका content interesting है, आपको उसकी बात में मजा आता है, आपको एक अच्छा लगता है. तीसरा है कि आप सीखते हो गेम, क्योंकि वही गेमर एक अच्छा कंटेंट क्रिएटर, स्ट्रीमर या ई स्पोर्ट्स प्लेयर बन पाता है जिसको गेम खेलना अच्छा आता है. तो आप उसका गेम देख के सीखते हो, and eventually it's a very aspirational career. People want to become a gamer or a esports player or a streamer. So we are basically a tech content platform. We are like Instagram for gaming or YouTube for gaming.
Exactly, I was just coming to that. You are like an Instagram for gamers and YouTube for gamers.
Yeah.
You know, all things gaming.
It's Twitch.
और ये live होता है.
So इसमें हमारे प्लेटफॉर्म में जब हमने शुरू किया था, पहले 2 साल लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग कंटेंट था, which means आप कभी भी ऐप पे आएंगे, आपको एक 1000 लाइव स्ट्रीम्स चल रही हैं, आप किसी को भी पिक करके देख सकते हो. लेकिन what we realize is कि live streaming is a great content for the first 20-25 million users of the category. As you go deeper, as you are going deeper in your TAM, you realize that people may not have that kind of a time. वो शायद 30 मिनट 35 मिनट नहीं दे पाए. तो we got into videos, but हमारा main inflection point आया जब हमने reels crack किया. Gaming reels रूटर पे आज 20 से 22 रील पर यूजर पर डे देख रहे हैं, और वो कैटेगरी हम लिटरली पायनियर कर रहे हैं, बिकॉज किसी ने भी इंडिया में भी छोड़ो, बाहर भी क्रैक नहीं किया. और वी थिंक दैट बाइट साइज कंटेंट इज गोइंग टू, इट हैज फ्लोन इन एवरी कैटेगरी, विल बिकम मच बिगर इन गेमिंग. और a combination of streaming videos and reels is what is a combination of what Router offers.
Wow, lovely. This is amazing. Very different and very interesting business, I must say. Fortnite और इस तरह के मैंने कुछ
बहुत सारे गेम,
सब चलता है.
PUBG, BGMI, Free Fire,
And
GTA 5.
now?
We are available in different markets. We are not pushing for user growth from a performance perspective, but organically we are biggest in Nepal and Bangladesh.
Sure.
We have users in at least 5-6 neighboring countries. But abhi We think India is a great opportunity, followed by MENA and some couple of countries in Southeast Asia. But aspiration, since you asked, and I'd like to complete your point, दुनिया में Twitch has become the biggest game streaming platform on the basis of the fact that they focused on markets जहाँ PC और console. So gaming तीन प्लेटफॉर्म से खेली जाती है. या तो कंसोल होता है PS5 जैसे ऐसे प्लेटफॉर्म, दूसरा होता है पीसी, आप लैपटॉप पे कंप्यूटर्स पे खेलते हैं, तीसरा है मोबाइल, राइट. सो जो दुनिया की सबसे बड़ी कंपनी हमारी कैटेगरी में है, व्हिच इज ओन्ड बाय Amazon bought them 10 years back. They are very very good and dominant in West market जहाँ PC and console gaming is big. बट एवरी इमर्जिंग मार्केट जहाँ गेमिंग मोबाइल पे आ रही है, वहां पे एक उसके अपनी ट्विच की जरूरत है. इंडिया बीइंग वन ऑफ द मार्केट्स. सो इफ वी डू थिंग्स वेल, we can easily get into many emerging markets jahan pe gaming will be on mobile. And that's the path we are following. So it can become global if we keep doing the right things and keep growing.
Awesome. I think Router की बहुत बातें हो गई. अब मुझे पीयूष के बारे में और जानना है. राइट, पीयूष ने ये स्टार्टअप कैसे बनाया? मतलब कब आप में एक लाइफ होती है बचपन में या फिर कॉलेज में या फिर वर्क प्लेस में, तो थोड़ा सा अपना जर्नी बताओ कि वो ट्रिगर पहला कब आया था कि एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप एक्चुअली करनी है.
सो मेरे जीवन का एक सूत्रधार जिसको कहते हैं ना, एक कड़ी रही है, जो कि वो ये है कि मैं बचपन से आज तक आई हैव बीन पैशनेट अबाउट स्पोर्ट्स. व्हेन आई वाज अ टीनेजर, एक टाइम था जब 10 साल के कोई भी क्रिकेट मैच का, आप किसी भी प्लेयर का कोई भी स्कोर पूछ लो, मुझे याद है. मतलब इन अ सेंस कि आई यूज्ड टू लव वाचिंग स्पोर्ट्स, रीडिंग सारी मैगजीन, बुक्स, आई रेड प्रीटी मच एवरीथिंग, एंड आई यूज्ड टू प्ले अ स्पोर्ट. आज भी पिछले 25 साल में आई थिंक आई in every week, if I'm in town, I would play at least 5 days a week. Some active sports, badminton, squash, I play pretty regularly. So sports has been a part of my life. Everybody around me thought that I will make a career in sports, but I started my career in advertising because that was a passion initially. I moved into marketing. मुझे sports में कोई एक बहुत अच्छा job नहीं मिल रही थी, या कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा था कि क्या करेंगे, और करते करते it reached a stage where I realized, फिर वो ज़माना आया जब Zomato और Paytm और ऐसे startups हमारे आसपास आए, और मुझे लगा कि I was in my mid-30s, going to be in my mid-30s, and I realized that what if I create a platform that can marry my passion for sports and my passion to do something different.
Wow.
So Router actually,
30s.
I was 34 when 35 when I conceptualized this. By the time I launched, it was 36. I was 36. And Router वहीं से शुरू हुआ कि मुझे स्पोर्ट्स के लिए कुछ करना था, तो स्पोर्ट्स के लिए Router शुरू हुआ. जैसे मैंने कहा, पहले 3 साल हमने स्पोर्ट्स में काफ़ी कुछ किया, और इवेंचुअली जब स्पोर्ट्स स्केल नहीं हो रहा था, एंड आपने भी ये देखा होगा कि एज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर वी नीड टू बी ऑनेस्ट टू आवरसेल्व्स मोर देन एनीबडी एल्स. सो वी रियलाइज दैट गिवन आवर टेक्नोलॉजी अपॉर्चुनिटी वी कैन स्विच टू गेमिंग, एंड देन गेमिंग ग्रू. सो ऐसा नहीं था कि मैं हमेशा से बिजनेस करना चाहता था या एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप करना चाहता था, बट मुझे स्पोर्ट्स में एक करियर बनाना था. उस स्पोर्ट्स के करियर ने Router शुरू किया, और इवेंचुअली वी केम इनटू गेमिंग, और आज यहाँ पर एक बहुत बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी पे बैठे हुए हैं.
बट आई थिंक it's very interesting कि you are working in the advertising space, right? तो वो, and that has been a long career, like how many years?
So I spent first 7 years of my, so actually I spent 2 years in a travel show. Then I did a very, I sometimes think मैंने थॉमस कुक में फॉरेन करेंसी बेची और कलेक्ट की 6 महीने के लिए. आप जो थॉमस कुक में जाते हो, मतलब I've done that because that was a transition job in my life. Then I entered advertising. Advertising was a passion. 7 साल वो किया, फिर 7 साल मार्केटिंग किया. तो एक्चुअली एक टेबल पे 2 साइड होता है, एडवर्टाइजिंग और मार्केटिंग are 2 sides of the table. So I did that.
Which company was this?
Advertising I started with FCB Ulka, one of my dearest place. Yeah, so I worked there for 5.5 years. I did 1 year in O&M Ogilvy, and then I moved to FCB Ulka. और फिर marketing में I did 2.5 years with Dish TV. Then I was head of marketing for Swatch Group for Rado for 5 years, which was my last corporate job before I started Router. So it's 7 years advertising, 7 years marketing, and now 7 years Router. So it's like about 21-22 years of career, equally divided into 3 parts. I think 7 year each is
next 7.
I don't know. I mean, I honestly, I think since you have asked, given the opportunity in gaming, I have committed another 5 to 7 years to this business. If all goes well and God is kind, I think in there'll be the key high point in this category will come in 3 to 5 years. I want to be there in the category while that is happening.
Well, that's very interesting. But advertising, you said that you met the likes of the top celebrities, right? Shah Rukh, Aman, and so many others, right? So, और वहाँ से, but moving to a new startup, it's like starting from zero, right?
Yeah.
You are on zero.
Yeah.
तो वो ट्रिगर कैसे, मतलब किसने दिया आपको? मे बी फर्स्ट चेक रेस कर पाए थे इसलिए छोड़ी नौकरी, एंड गेमिंग वाज, मतलब कुछ भी कहो, इट्स लुक्स गुड फ्रॉम आउटसाइड, बट मेकिंग अ बिजनेस आउट ऑफ गेमिंग इज नॉट इजी, राइट? तो वो मतलब मुझे अभी भी क्लियर नहीं हो रहा।
मैं आपको बताता हूँ होता क्या है कि जब आप लाइफ में ना जब सो यू वर्क लाइक मोस्ट ऑफ अस राइट आई वाज नॉट एन एमबीए आई डिडंट हैव अ किक स्टार्ट ऑफ माय करियर राइट नॉट एन इंजीनियर नॉट एन एमबीए
Okay.
बेसिक ग्रेजुएशन
Uh-huh.
I started my career started with 5,000 rupees salary kept growing so 8-10 साल में you reached a stage where चलो SWAT group की नौकरी लग गई you were doing okay traveling the world
Right.
a lot of times comfort is something that triggers the maximum passion in you I just realized that working with the best लग्जरी कंपनी इन द वर्ल्ड इज ऑल्सो नॉट मेकिंग मी हैप्पी जब आपको आपके जॉब से खुशी नहीं मिलती है इसलिए नहीं कि वो काम बुरा है इसलिए बिकॉज आपको अपने खुद से बहुत एक्सपेक्टेशंस होती हैं तो मेरा लाइफ में एक मोड़ आया था व्हेन आई वाज 32 से 34 के बीच में वेयर आई रियलाइज कि अगर ऐसे ही चलता रहा तो आई विल नॉट बी एबल टू डू एनीथिंग मेजर इन लाइफ इन अदर वर्ड्स आई थिंक all of us have an opportunity it may sound little I don't know, it may sound little funny but मेरा ये लाइफ का ये मानना है कि हम सबके लाइफ में एक ग्रेटनेस का एक अपॉर्चुनिटी होती है जो लोग आईआईटी करते हैं उनको वो 20 साल में उन्हें मिल जाता है जो लोग अच्छा एमबीए करते हैं वो शायद लेट 20s में होता है कुछ लोग सो एवरीबडी गेट्स दैट अपॉर्चुनिटी राइट so for me I realized that starting up a company is the only way I can change the trajectory of my life otherwise I'll remain a person who will keep doing job keep switching job 2-3 years and it will never happen so it happened because I thought this is the only chance or I couldn't have done a degree at 35 and changed my career or I couldn't have done anything like that right so the only way to and there is no concept of getting lucky unless you do something so entrepreneurship was perhaps the only way through which I could have changed gears in my life and I said let's start from scratch and do it what is the worst that will happen I can always go back to a job but yes. I realized that so that is one thing and just to add another point I announced to the world at least 3-4 years before Root started that I'm going to do this. So when you do this, you put yourself under pressure that you're going to do this and then everybody will question you. So combination of lot of things. I think, when you look at retrospect, you think, chalo, ye sab cheezein would have worked. Eventually what matters is कि आपने एक दिन decide किया कि ये करना है तो you go ahead and do it.
कर लिया मतलब. Plunge ले लिया. And what about your family background? A little bit about your dad, your mom.
Yeah.
Your siblings, what do you extract out of them?
No, so my family is from Bihar. They still live there. There's a town called Muzaffarpur. So my roots are still there. I've not lived in Bihar too much. I studied in Delhi, but 2 saal ke liye I went back to study in one of the colleges in Patna when we were going through a little tough time. Then I came back to Delhi. I worked here. So my father runs a packaging business and it's a normal like medium size business, good enough to sustain and they've built their life over there. My sister used to work with Bank of Baroda. I lost her 10 years back to cancer. She was my only sibling. And then my wife, I met her in advertising in 2006. And then we had, and then I have a son who was actually born in the same year that Rooter started. Wow. So Rooter started after he was born and they both are kind of on the same trajectory. So both are 7 years old now. But that's a combination. It's a very simple life. My wife also, by the way, works with Rooter and she heads HR. She heads HR there. She's the third oldest employee in the company, not a co-founder. She started and she's done a lot of work for us. Handled all the back end work, all the admin and finance and all of it. Finally settled at HR, which she was good at. But we are all in. We are all in as far as Rooter is concerned. Yeah.
No, though, even in my case, my wife is my co-founder.
Oh, nice.
In our case, employee number 1 and 2 are both of us.
Fantastic.
But who's in your case the second employee?
Well,
since you said that she's
no, of course. Dipesh, my co-founder.
Wow.
Very, very interesting guy. Very lucky to have found him. He is 13 years younger to me.
Okay.
When I was looking for a co-founder, I remember I put up a tweet and I was looking for people because I didn't have a background, no network.
Nice.
And that is when he replied. A lot of people replied. He replied. I met him. We kept meeting for 6 months. He was finishing his final semester in computer engineering from Jadavpur University. I convinced him. He got convinced. He took the flight the next day of his last exam over there, and he's been with us for last 7 years. Extremely diligent. Heads product, looks after technology, personally ensures growth. So entire user growth he looks after, and he's the CEO of the company right now. So
Wow.
two of us have gone through a lot of ups and downs. We had a couple of co-founders for brief time, Akshat and Soham, who did their roles in early days of our journey. But yeah, since last four and a half years, two of us have been building it.
Lovely.
So
Two co-founders in Buddha.
two co-founders, yeah, Dipesh and me. That's
Got it.
right. Yeah.
So how come your wife you decided it like this कि उसको co-founder नहीं बनाना है?
नहीं
कैसा scene था?
उसका होता देखो co-founder का मतलब ये होता है कि you have to come up with you have to found build a company, like you have to lay the foundation of the company. So I started Router alone, and then Dipesh joined, and I personally thought that nothing to take away from her, but at that stage she was more helping me from the background rather than really being in the forefront and doing something. And always when you build a co-founding team, you have to look at complementary skills. So Dipesh and me have a very strong complementary skill. So is with my wife Ruchika as well. But we never looked at it from that perspective, and I think it has allowed us to remain sane. I don't know how it works in your case, but in our case, obviously, because we always wanted to ensure there's no conflict of interest, in a sense that, so she doesn't hold a share in the company, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah, because you can't do it given the fact that she's my
Related
wife
party.
and related party. So we have been very open about it. She's like anybody else, but she's one of the members of senior leadership team and completely all in. So it's a very different equation. I think more than me, it's her greatness that she's so dedicated without anything that she's getting, and for her also what I do is what she will eventually make out of. But that's how things have been, and we didn't write the script, to be honest.
Correct. No,
She joined because I needed somebody trustworthy to look
Yes.
after investors' money and work with the legal team and stuff, and she kept giving at some point she decided to just focus on HR. And yeah, in the last I think 1 year we've grown from 40-member team to 110-member team, single-handedly driven
That's
by her
great,
and Dipesh.
actually. I mean, amazing commitment from her side also.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going all in without equity,
Correct.
just supporting you. So, I think on this channel, I would love to thank
No,
her
always.
to be your amazing sounding board.
And I have to tell you that nobody ever has asked me this question in so much detail that you did, because you understand the nuances.
Absolutely.
And I see a lot of husband and wife who become co-founders, and that's very great. But in our case, we didn't want to just do it because she's my wife. And she also understands that unless she took it like a co-founder role, later on making her a co-founder, I just didn't feel it was the right thing to do. And but it's her commitment that in spite of that, she's
No, I
doing
think
what
it's
she's doing.
good. See, I think every script is different, and it's great in your case, because I just know that you digress and dissect your work life and your personal life very well.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the time that you'd love to know that, because you're talking about family. How do you, because building a startup is not easy.
No, not at all.
Madness, 24/7, lage rahe hain, competition, ye, wo, investors, right? How do you manage? Because I seem to see that there's a fit guy sitting out here, right? How do you manage your personal and work life?
Yeah, Akash, no, बहुत simple है. I think so we all know as entrepreneurs, right, that this is a very, very tough journey. Like,
Yes.
हम बाहर से कितने भी खुश लगे हैं और people think everything is going good, we know that internally every day we wake up in the morning to go through, and a lot of people do it, but in our case, because stakes are so high and we are handling so much of investors' money and so many people who trust us to run the company well, we go through a lot of tough times. But for me, the way I do it is that I've divided my week week and a year in a few ways. So broadly on a year basis, I try and take holidays as much as I can. In the sense that even if it is a drive to Jaipur or it is going somewhere out, I think that's the most important aspect of entrepreneurship. If you're not taking breaks, and even if you need to take a break every 45 days or 2 months, one should do it, even if it is just 3 days. So that is one. Secondly, I divide my week into 3 parts. One is during the week, Monday to Friday, I only work and I play in the evening. Only. I don't socialize, I don't meet people. I come back, try and rest my body so that I can, again go back to work. And because we go through a lot of these, interesting times. And then on Friday, I meet my friends and I chill. And Saturdays and Sundays, I don't meet anybody except my wife and son. Because I realized that my son is now 7 years old, and when he was 3, and I realized we are great buddies, and I realized that if I go out and socialize on Saturdays, I'm meeting friends or doing whatever, I'm taking his time away. So on Saturdays and Sundays, I have a very simple rule that I don't chill out, I don't eat non-veg. So nobody wants to meet me socially because I'm not going to do any fun thing, right? And therefore, these 2 days I just spend time with my son. We are making Legos and we are playing video games and we are just going to different places in Delhi and generally catching up. And me, my wife and son, we spend a lot of time together. So on those 2 days, while I'm constantly in touch with work, I'm not in touch with anybody. Like no friends, no community, no entrepreneurs or whatever. And then I again switch it on back on Monday. So I think that Saturday Sunday rule has really helped me balance it, and I know that once your kid grows, you're not gonna get those years back, which is why this is the time that you do it selfishly for yourself. Also,
well, that's an amazing hack for founders, guys. There's a lot of learning coming out here, right? Saturday Sunday pure switch off, right, and Friday for friends, and Monday to Friday madness.
Yeah, and I'm also, just to add, I know a lot of people say this, I'm not a fan of 6 days work week at all. In my life, I've never done any job. I would have probably rejected a couple of jobs if they would have said, like, you need to come for 6 days, because I think one day is not enough to recharge. And if you're not recharged, your performance will definitely go down. So my personal, so even in our organization, if some people work over the weekend, they kind of do a compensation. But for me, it's very simple that for me, I work the best if I'm working 5 days a week.
That's awesome, actually. I mean, in Zypp, this is the first month when all Saturdays will be off. Let me say that.
Perfect. No, that's fine.
The first month.
It depends from category to category. Like gaming is on all 7 days.
Ours is a very ops intensive.
Yeah, I know. So even in our company, there are many teams that work. But what you try to do is balance it out by saying that if they're working on a weekend, probably somebody else can take over that. You know, I think this is where I believe the Western culture is quite interesting, that, you know, they do value. I don't like 4 days week and all that. I think Fridays are very important. Fridays, you can't be half days or whatever. You need to work till 6:37. But I think Saturdays and Sundays is very important for you. So that at least it works for me and I have followed it.
No, that's amazing.
It helps.
And I think what I take out of this, learning is also, to take those regular breaks.
Yeah.
I think I have not done those enough, and that, takes a toll on life. But when you take some of these breaks, I think it recharges you so much. And then you think 10 different things. I think maybe that's why.
Can I give you a hack of this?
Why not?
So we have a very simple rule. Okay. Whenever we come back from a holiday, within 3 days we have to book the next holiday. Even if it is 6 months late, no problem. So it's not that you decide that you're going somewhere. Just book the flight tickets or train tickets or whatever you're doing. When you book that, you know that 3 months, 2 months, 6 months later, you're going somewhere. So one, it helps in you getting excited about the next holiday. If holidays is your thing, for us, it's a big deal. I think it's a great time. And we have another rule that we never ever take holidays with friends. Never. Like
only family.
Only family.
And only the couple, or
like 3 of us, or sometimes with our parents, but only us. We don't, like, if I believe that if I'm going out if I'm going out with a friend, then I'll not go with Yash.
Okay.
Because if I'm going with Yash and if I'm going with a friend, I'll invariably spend more time with friend than Yash, because that is how life is constructed. Like, we are young people. So anyway, so that's one rule. And second rule is, it also helps us finance holidays better. So suppose you book your flight tickets early, then you pay the 5 flight tickets in the first couple of months. Then you book hotel, and then what I'm saying. So this is one way to also make holidays very affordable by taking the cost of holiday in installments while you're building up.
Lovely.
It's worked for us for last 4 years. Yeah.
No, I think again a great learning. Book your next holiday as soon as you're.
And even if it is 5 months later, no problems.
And छोटा bhi lete raho.
छोटा bhi lete raho. Drivable holidays we should take. I think India is a great country. We have seen everything around Delhi. Everything which is like Rajasthan, we have explored. So that is one. And secondly, of course, if you're going out, just book your ticket. That's it. It's very, holiday. It's a notion that holidays are expensive. They're not. One, if you plan better. Second, if you think that is a priority.
Great. तो एक अलग सा मैं सवाल पूछता हूँ. Since you are an avid traveler, right, and you're a gamer also, आपसे कई सारे सवाल पूछे जा सकते हैं. तो which are the top 3 destinations according to you that you would recommend? people like me who don't travel much, who want to travel a lot,
No, so I think
India or outside? Yeah.
so I'm a huge beach person. For me, of course, like everybody else.
Yes.
You were in Goa a few days back. Goa is like for me, my son, everybody. That's the best place. And then I really like the Nainital area in here. So I more than Himachal, I actually prefer Uttarakhand hills.
Okay.
I think the entire view of Nanda Devi and all just is quite interesting. So this is this part, right? I have not, the only place in India that I have not been to is Northeast. I have not gone beyond Guwahati.
Okay.
And Ladakh. These are the only two places I've not been. I want to cover. Rest everybody I've done it due to my job and everything. Outside India, my favorite city, to be honest, is London. I think the energy there is quite outstanding. Also because it's a great city for sports. A lot of football, cricket in summers, Wimbledon, stuff like that happens. I've been, because I work with a Swiss company, I've been to Switzerland some 23, 24 times, maybe
Yeah.
more, because because my best friend also lives there. So, but Switzerland is not fun. It's great. You go there, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a scenery that.
Yeah, there's no culture in Switzerland,
Yes.
but it's a great place. You should go at least once over there.
Yeah.
And then my other extremely favorite place is Australia.
Oh.
Yeah, Melbourne and Sydney are just, it's very far and very difficult to make that happen. But if you get there, it's another place altogether. Again, has a great sports culture.
Nice. Wow. And I think since we are talking about sports and fitness, what's your fitness mantra? I mean, I think founders usually are not focused a lot on fitness, and I feel personally that everyone in Zypp or everywhere who's in a startup world or founder especially should be fit, because life is, taking a toll on you. So kya hai? Matlab, what is your mantra?
So it's very simple. First is that I think so fitness has different meaning for different people.
Yeah.
For me, fitness is all about how much energy you have during the day. Like I've never been a smoker in life, not even once. I eat mostly ghar ka khana, and I eat a lot of juices and all that. So first is what you eat more or less decides how fit you're gonna be, right? Like very, very moderate or almost very low drinker and all that. But I personally feel that in life, your entire energy comes from your core, okay, which is the core of your body, right? So your core has to be fittest. The day you gain weight, you're weakening your core.
Yeah.
And core is not just required for you to run in life. Core is जहाँ से हिम्मत आती है, जिसे कहते हैं ना कि वो the butterflies.
Yeah,
Why they
yeah.
say stomach butterflies? Because that is where your nervousness or your confidence comes from.
Right.
So I'm a big believer in building a core. Right. For me, my all morning exercises are all about building the core. I'm not a big fan of bulky bodies and all that. My weight has always been between 76 to 78 for nearly 15, 18 years now. I've just maintained in that.
Wow.
The other thing is that I am not, like a lot of people go to gym or they do yoga or they do running or they do walking. I cannot do any one of this.
Okay.
I get very bored in walking and running. I've tried gym 10 times in my life, always wasted money. I just can't. I'm just not that person who can stand in front of a mirror and put up weight, because I'm not focused on body by that logic. The only thing that has worked for me is playing sports.
Okay.
Which basically means that I am fit because I play sports. I don't play because I want to be fit. Right? Because I play and I burn anything between 650, 700, 2000 calories every day when I play. Because of sports, I am fit. And you know what I'm saying? And I'm not playing sports to be fit.
Right.
I'm playing because I like sports, and the byproduct is that fitness is there.
Wow.
So that is my fitness mantra. That if you
badminton and squash,
anything you pick any active sports, if you're playing regularly, you'll invariably be fit. Because you want to become a champion in that sport, you will try and make yourself fit, and you'll do stretching and you'll do whatever is required, right? So my entire dream of not becoming a sportsman in life is something that I fulfill by playing it every day and trying to win every day. It's like that, yeah.
So badminton court next time.
Anything, yeah. just pick any sport which you think is nice.
And what's the morning fitness you said?
Morning I do. So morning before I take my shower, I have a 20-minute regime, which is 365 days a week. Which means that, I mean, unless I'm on a flight, sometimes I've tried that also. Like any hotel, anywhere I'm in the traveling, I will always do that 20-minute thing, and it requires nothing. It's just basic push-ups and sit-ups and crunches and basic stretching and stuff like that. That's it.
It's like HIIT types.
Not even that. Like, I don't even wear my Apple Watch then. I wear my Apple Watch when I'm playing. There, I'm not worried about calories and all.
Sure.
It's just about doing something, in a sustainable manner, because that helps you play later in the evening or helps you day. So that I do like 365 days a week. I'll not miss it any time.
What a discipline, I think.
No, it's a more of a habit, honestly. It's more of a habit. It's more like नहा के पूजा करते हैं ना. I do puja every day. तो वो नहाने के पहले मैं exercise करता हूँ. So वो exercise, shower and puja, like 3 things I have to do every day. That is how I do it. Yeah.
तो अब थोड़ा फंडिंग राउंड्स के बारे में बात करते हैं, राइट? सो यू स्टार्ट योर कंपनी, you're not an MBA or an engineer, right? You work for 14 years in very different field, advertising and then marketing, right? And then you started a gaming company with a co-founder, right? Who's much younger than you. तो ये मतलब पहला चेक कैसे आया, कितना स्ट्रगल था, कितनी पिचेस दी? क्योंकि जो लिसनर्स है ना, why I want to stress on these questions, because listeners का सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज आज की डेट में ये है, वो चेक कैसे रेज होता है, पिच कैसे करते हैं?
So यार मेरे केस में ना, while I'm not an engineer, I am not done my MBA, but I had 13 years of work ex before I started this, right? So I think on the virtue of multiple relationships I had built, I got a window to pitch to few people.
Okay.
The first one of them was Baman Irani. I'm not kidding. The first... The actor.
Oh.
Actually, let me tell you a very interesting story. I don't think I've said this anywhere. So Dream 11, in those early days of 2016, I used to play on Dream 11. And one day, I just came first in one of the rankings. I won 16,000 as the prize money that night. That 16,000 funded my first pitching trip to Bombay. In a sense that I said,
thank Harsh for this now.
Yeah, Harsh, I think know that. I've told Harsh and we know each other quite well. I think I've told him that in a manner of speaking that game funded. Anyway, so I reached Bombay, I met Baman Irani. I didn't meet him for funding, I met him to basically discuss the idea. He's one of the biggest sportsmen you'll ever meet in your life. If you'll ask him 1976 Wimbledon, who won, what was the score, he'll remember that. If you'll ask him 1966 Football World Cup, England won, what was the score, who was the best player, he'll know that.
Wow.
He can talk each sports and he'll not miss any sports in the world and stuff like that. So I met him, he really liked what we were building. There was no product, only a 10-slide presentation. His manager called me the next day and said, Baman wants to put 25 lakhs. And that is how my first check came. And I said the day his money hits our bank is the day I'll quit Swatch Group to come full-time, because that's my commitment to him. So then I raised money from my ex-bosses, a lot of angels, Anjali Hegde, she's one of the founders of Interactive Venue. She put in a large check. Intex family, Keshav, who's now a very close friend, he convinced his entire family and they put in a very large check. So we raised about, $400,000 at the first round. I call it an extremely lucky round. Dhruv, who's my very close friend, he was the second check. So one of my Dhruv and Kunal from Value 360, they were the second and third check. A user who was using Router during MVP called Prantik, he was the fourth or third check. So we got I think I got very lucky with the first round of funding, and it happened because there was people saw a bit of a passion and sport had a connection, and I think somewhere there was a trust factor with 13 years of work ex. Then when we started building Router, the next 1.5 years, we didn't do a good job with product.
Okay.
And we could not convince the larger investor community that this is a product that can scale or become. So we could not raise our second round for nearly 9 to 10 months, almost a year, when I went into the market.
Sure.
It reached a stage where Router was running without money for 9-10 months. 20 of our team members were working without salary, and I put in every saving to ensure the app doesn't go down, and everybody supported us, right from AWS to Value 360 to Clever Tap. Everybody said, somewhere we started owing a lot of people a lot of money to different companies and to my employees, but we kept there. And then one day we just cracked it. That is where our dear mentor Apurv comes in. The first check came from Venture Catalyst.
After 18 months of the first.
After 9 months of us not raising, I met Venture Catalyst. Dr. Apurv said, we'll fund you. Neeraj, who now runs We Founder Circle, he gave money within 48 hours, saying that I told him I need some money to give salaries or something. So Venture Catalyst happened, Anthil Ventures happened that same year. I think we have common investors both,
Yeah,
right?
we
So
have all
same
three of them are common.
Prasad and Sailesh and
Nice.
everybody, right? And Neeraj, of course. Yeah. So these guys did, but our biggest breakthrough came after the local investors was the Adidas family. So Adidas family started a fund called Lead Fund. It started as an accelerator, and we are still the only Indian company that got selected. So I was in Berlin for 4 months. We completed an accelerator. They eventually have funded us in every round after that. So the entire Adidas family, Adi Dassler's grandson and great grandson, are investors in Ruta, shareholders in Ruta.
Okay. That's amazing.
So that was the second round. So after a lot of hustle, we raised another, I think, $500,000 or $600,000. So we raised about $1 million
along with the VCats.
Along with the VCats and Anthil and
600K.
everybody. Yeah. So until we became until 2020, we raised 1 million only for the first 4 years.
Wow.
Very difficult, but we were the good thing was that we kept our team very small, focused on technology, focused on scalable technology. We didn't take much salaries and all of that. And the idea was that let's just keep. Where a lot of companies come and go. You would have seen this in your journey. I've seen your story actually. That how many companies came and went during your journey. And I think what helps us initially is that you don't become too ambitious. Don't spend money on unnecessary things. Focus on basics. So we kept doing that. And then a round happened with Paytm. So one day, Vijay reached out through Twitter. And he had heard about us and he said, can you come and meet and explain what you're doing? We met Vijay, we met Madhur, we met Sudhanshu, and Paytm decided to lead the round. So then we raised a 1.7 million round, which Paytm led, and that was a third round, on the basis of which we pivoted to gaming. And then we kept doing gaming, and then once we got into gaming, can I just continue telling you this? Okay, so when we got into gaming, suddenly we were in a business where we needed a lot of capital because this is streaming technology, we need to pay creators, stuff like that. And in the first 1.5 years, we were not able to raise because nobody in India had a thesis on gaming. All that
none of the VCs, you would have pitched
nobody.
Everyone, right?
2020 and 21, there were only 3 things Indian investors understood. One is edtech. If you have edtech written in your deck somewhere, you will get money.
Right.
Second was any TikTok sort of a clone. That kind of happened. And third was anything that was adding productivity to working from home. Because at that time, people assumed that everything is going to happen. But gaming, nobody understood. So we met everybody. We pitched to pretty much every investor in India or abroad and stuff. And people just didn't have a conviction on that. And then we did a small family office round, again, thanks to VCats, where we got some beautiful family offices. I think again we have common investors there. Nanavati family office.
Again, we had pitched in a similar
one. Yeah. So Amit Nanavati and Gigi Boy family office and Tarun Telyani, Jahan Telyani, he invested. A lot of investors came in that round. वहाँ तक ठीक चल रहा था, and then we reached a stage where we said now we need a big Series A because our 2 years of effort and our thesis was very clear in this space. And that is when we started to stitch a Series A round, which March Capital and Dwayne Park Ventures was leading, and 9 Unicorn and Advantage. And then suddenly in our life came Lightbox. From nowhere, Sid and Anshika reached out. They decided to invest in 30 days. Their conviction was quite amazing. 30 days they invested, and that is how we raised 25 million Series A round. About 15 days back, we have announced a pre-Series B round, which was another 16 million. So far, we have raised $46 million, out of which 38 million is primary. And we have, by the way, given exits worth $8 million to few of our ex-employees, ex-co-founders, plus 21 investors in our Series A round, ranging from 13 to 19x. So we have that. Yeah, that feeling of doing it. So yeah, it's been a journey, quite interesting. But coming back to, sorry, I didn't answer your question. I answered more on what was happening. There is no right or wrong rule of fundraising, according to me. I was listening to one of the podcasts. Yeah, I was listening to the podcast of Naveen Tiwari.
Okay. In Mobi.
I think the Ken one. And he said something very interesting. No, I was reading the podcast of, I'm a big fan of, Dunzo, Kabir. We have common investor in Lightbox. And he said very interesting. He said funding is like, you need to knock as many doors for you to succeed. So I think there's one thing is that one need to have a right story. And secondly, there is no shortcut to funding. I'm sure you would have seen it in your life and in our life. So
keep reaching out.
Keep reaching out, have a very sustained plan. I think in the last after first 5 years, I understood that it is not luck, it is not just hard work, it is a science. And by science, I mean you need to understand what investors are looking for, and therefore build your story around them, because most of them, to be honest, are saying the right thing. They may or may not be right in their conviction, but most of the times I've seen investors' feedback who turn us down is not so wrong. We are always happy to prove somebody wrong, but most of the time they have their own reasons to pass on. And then reach out to the right investor. Do not waste time on going to investors who you know you're never going to invest.
Right.
So that is how we have been through it. Yeah.
That's amazing. Actually, that's a very similar story, right?
Yeah.
First 2-3 years, VCAT supported.
I've seen your
Angel
journey.
supported.
Yeah. Your competitors raised a lot of money, and you
Crazy $200 million
Yeah.
competitor raised. Large VCs
Yeah.
supporting them. But yeah, somehow you have to keep the light bulb on.
Yeah.
You have to keep the hustle on. You have to keep pitching. And I think one very interesting point that you've shared is that every feedback, every no has a learning
absolutely,
within that.
Absolutely. And you should not burn your bridges. वो कभी भी I think आपने भी सीखा होगा कि यार at the end of the day they are handling somebody's money, right? और अगर वो convinced नहीं है तो वो कैसे किसी का पैसा आपके business में डाल देंगे? तो उसको I never used to like it during. अभी भी अच्छा तो नहीं लगता है जब कोई reject करता है, but मुझे लगता है कोई बात नहीं. It's okay. I mean, we'll figure it out, right? So I think that is what it is. But yeah, I mean, in your case also, congratulations. You guys did a very big round recently, and I think you are leading the category in a much.
No, it's just.
मतलब मैं आपको बताना
चाहूँगा. I think for both of us, it's just the beginning.
But I have to tell you this: around our office, I feel very happy. Like in South Delhi, you guys are very big, right? Every third vehicle or fourth vehicle is Zypp scooter, and very aggressive you are in that market. So for me, it's like every time I see that, it reminds me of you.
It's nice. No, yeah, थोड़ा बहुत काम कर रहे हैं. Yeah, but good to know. So coming back to Router, because you had a pivot, right? When did you feel as a founder कि अब PMF हो गया है? कितने साल बाद?
यार इसका ना एक I mean don't get me wrong, but I'll tell you an answer. I think PMF doesn't happen in one day or one go.
It doesn't,
right?
I agree.
So there is a product market fit that happens for technology first or product first. Then there is a PMF that happens for growth. उसका बहुत सिंपल मेट्रिक होता है. तो टेक्नोलॉजी का ये होता है कि if app crashes or not there, you manage to build the technology or product that you're building or whatever. Growth का PMF ये होता है कि your organic growth percentage is very high, your CAC is low, invites are higher in our kind of a business and all of it, and your TAM is very easily addressable. मतलब you're in the right market with the right TAM, and so on and so forth. And there are some conviction on people putting money behind your user growth, right? Or your retention metrics and stuff. The third PMF which we are going through right now is when you are scaling monetization. So कोई जरूरत, मैंने बहुत सारे businesses में इंडिया का देखा है कि maybe they have a very strong PMF when they were growing their business from a user growth perspective. But when they start monetization, they again get stuck. So then anybody can turn back and say that you had a product market fit on the basis of which people invested millions, but then the product market fit applied for growth but didn't apply for revenue, right? So for us, we are in that zone from the last 7-8 months where we are kind of finding product market fit for revenue. We have found a very strong product market fit for brand monetization. So brands have a very clear use case of investing in Router, growing. Our revenue has grown 4x and all that. But in next 12 months for everybody at Router, our idea is to find a product market fit for user monetization. Why will a user spend money on Router, whether it is for commerce or subscription or gifting or whatever it is what we are doing. So I think वो चल रहा है अभी phase. So कोई एक product market fit नहीं है. I think phases में है. तो अभी वो वाला phase चल रहा है monetization.
पहला कब था टेक्नोलॉजी में?
पहला ये था जब हमने सबसे अपना खुद का स्ट्रीमिंग टेक्नोलॉजी बनाया 2019 में ना, जब हमने स्पोर्ट्स के लिए बनाया, और जब वही टेक्नोलॉजी को हमने गेमिंग में यूज किया और हमारा प्रोडक्ट सस्टेन कर गया ग्रोथ, दैट मीन्स द टेक्नोलॉजी टीम, प्रोडक्ट टीम, दिपेश व्हाट ही डिड एन एक्सीलेंट जॉब. तो प्रोडक्ट वाइज हमने उसको फोड़ दिया था. सेकंड आया जब हमने 20 और 21 में लगभग $2 के कैक में अगले 25 मिलियन यूजर्स लेके आए. तो वो बहुत बड़ा थीसिस था सीरीज है इन्वेस्टर्स के लिए. तो वो सेकंड आया. थर्ड अभी चल रहा है कि ब्रांड मॉनेटाइजेशन में लोगों को विश्वास आ गया है, तो थोड़ा सा हम लोग उस बेसिस पे बना रहे हैं. लेकिन आज प्रॉपर सीरीज भी विल हैपन, एंड आई वुड लाइक टू रेज व्हेन वी हैव एटलीस्ट शोन सम very clear signals of user monetization. So ये चलता रहेगा. इसके बाद आएगा हमारा when we will so we are obviously profitability we are chasing. We should, if all goes well, we'll be profitable in 10 months. But more than that, profitability at scale.
Yes.
How can you be profitable when you are at 30 million ARR or 50 million users and all of that? So I think PMF is a constant effort. Every year you need to redefine your PMF and go for it, is how I look at it.
That's a very mature answer, I'm sure. A lot of people don't know what is the first PMF, but you've now dissected PMFs ki bhai, when you're building a business, it's a constant exercise of finding the next challenge.
Yeah.
And that is your next PMF, right? Scale, growth, profitability.
Kuch bhi.
Multiple countries would be a new PMF.
Correct,
right?
absolutely. Yeah. Or because I've also seen with a lot of businesses around that some of the businesses are sitting at 250, 300 million monthly active users, but they are not able to monetize even the top 5 million users.
Yeah.
तो इसका मतलब वो ग्रोथ में उनका आ गया लेकिन उस पे नहीं आ रहा. तो हमारा काम क्या है? हम we are, there are many entrepreneurs bigger than us who have been extremely successful. For us is that what can we take learning from their journey and apply in our journey. That is what we are doing right now.
Awesome. What's your team hack? I mean, how do you hire people? Is there a mantra? How do you build your culture? मतलब मुझे ऐसा लगता है तुम्हारा ऑफिस बड़ा गेमिंग होगा, हर तरफ कुछ ना कुछ लगे हुए होंगे.
नहीं, सो हमारा ऑफिस तो बहुत बेसिक है. बहुत बेसिक है. आप हमारे ऑफिस एंटर करोगे तो शायद आपको लगेगा सरकारी ऑफिस है फ्रॉम द लुक्स ऑफ इट.
अच्छा.
वी हैव केप्ट इट एक्सट्रीमली अंडरस्टेटेड.
ठीक है.
Very low cost, in the middle of a very old market types. कुछ jazz कुछ नहीं है.
ठीक है.
लेकिन everybody within the company is talking gaming, talking eating sleeping gaming, right? You will see some people playing games on PUBG, they are watching some stream, they are talking to some gamer. तो वो एक अलग excitement है. Energy level बहुत high है. तो वो इसलिए because I think 99% of people who are in our company are here because they love gaming, or they believe that gaming will be the future and stuff like that. So they are here for the right reasons. तो ऑफिस वाइज अभी नहीं है. आपका ऑफिस मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा. आई थिंक दिख रहा है कि यहाँ पे यू गाइज आर रियली मेकिंग अ डिफरेंस. सस्टेनेबिलिटी बिल्ड कर रहे हो. हमारे में तो अलग है. तो एक वो है टीम हैक. बहुत सिंपल है. देखो, मैं आई विल नॉट टेक द क्रेडिट ऑफ बिल्डिंग द लार्जर टीम. ओके, व्हाट आई हैव डन इज फॉर मी finding Dipesh, convincing Ruchika to come, Akshay, who's our 4th oldest employee, Ayush, who's our chief business officer, Chirag, who's our VP finance, Soumya, who looks after corporate communication, lot of Gurmeet, who's my chief of staff. There are a lot of these people, the top 10-15 people who are a part of our 10 people, I'll say, who are a part of our senior leadership team. I take the credit of either convincing them to join or retaining them or keeping them excited about the business.
Is there anything that you'd like to tell the younger Piyush?
Yeah, I think the only thing I like to tell myself is that while there were a lot of challenges to go for a higher education or to figure it out, I wish I had done everything to maybe study for 2 more years.
Okay.
चाहे वो कुछ भी होता, चाहे वो MA ही क्यों ना हो, कुछ भी हो, I could have, because what I miss, the only thing that I miss is not studying for another couple of years, to be honest. I started working when I was 20. मुझे लगता है वो, everybody around me has a great alumni network and they talk about their colleges and all that. I have nothing besides school and some bit of college life. I have nothing beyond that. So I think kuch bhi karke, I think that maybe 5 years, 6 years post your school studying, चाहे कुछ भी करो, I think be in any campus in the world, doesn't matter.
Sure.
Most of us know that जो हम पढ़ते हैं वो आगे जाके कम applicable होता है. What we learn is on the job, right? So the only thing if I could rewrite would say is that I wish I had worked hard to study maybe 2 more years. चाहे कितनी भी मुश्किलें होती हैं, but वो नहीं कर पाया. But hopefully अभी करेंगे. मौका लगा.
There's always time to do these
things. Like to go back and study.
And what is the advice that you'd like to give to young founders जो आज शुरू कर रहे हैं? बहुत क्लटर है, शार्क टैंक आ रहा है एक तरफ ये सब हो रहा है. मतलब क्या बताना चाहोगे कि क्या करें? यार बहुत सिंपल. मेरा सबसे पहला एडवाइस यही होता है कि डोंट डू इट फॉर मनी. Don't become a founder because you want to drive a big car or do whatever. I think वो मैंने इतने लोगों को अपने लाइफ में देखा है जिन्होंने वो सोच के शुरू किया है ना. Don't do it for money. Don't do it for fame. Fame is, a lot of people think
if you and me are doing this podcast or we are on some article, that's because we are famous. We are not famous. We are basically when we don't have marketing money to be on television or do whatever, we have to work hard to talk about our company or product to the outside world.
Yeah.
उसके लिए हमें ये मेहनत करनी पड़ती है. By product that people get to know
This is
us.
work.
This is work. Literally is work, yeah. I mean, you are through you know, at least thousands of people will watch it and people will know more about Router. I always feel that, you know, चाहे कितनी भी मेहनत लगे, time निकाल के करो, because this is an important. Like I'll tell you, since you are at it, on my table I have this thing called 5 core jobs of CEO. I read it somewhere 5-6 years back. उसमें 5 चीजें हैं, quickly बता देता हूँ. एक है that have a very clear strategy. मुझे exactly याद नहीं, but I'll tell you. One, have a very clear strategy of what you want to do. Second is hire the best team for doing it. Third is provide capital for doing it, which is why we are responsible for fundraising. Yes. Fourth is be the most important or most perfect communicator internally and externally. Yes. You have to internally also communicate with your team and externally also communicate with the rest of the world. And fifth is build accountability. Right? तो जो वो फोर्थ पॉइंट है ना, वो हमारा जॉब है यार. वी हैव टू गो आउट एंड टॉक. हमें चाहे किसी से भी कहीं भी बात करना पड़े. दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट. सो एनीवेज, कमिंग बैक टू योर क्वेश्चन अगेन, आई डाइग्रेस. डोंट डू इट फॉर मनी. Don't do it for money. Don't do it for fame. Do it because one, you want to change the course of your life or career and really become an entrepreneur, owner of a business or something. And second is do it because of the cause that you're getting into. Like मेरे लिए स्पोर्ट्स में काम करना और स्पोर्ट्स की वजह से मैं गेमिंग में आया, एक पैशन है, राइट? मेहनत नहीं लगती. आपके लिए जो आपका मिशन है, आप उसमें इतना ज्यादा इन्वेस्टेड हो कि आपके लिए ये काम है, बहुत मेहनत है, लेकिन आपको लगता है कि यार ये मेरे जीवन का मिशन है कि आज से 10 साल बाद people would remember you for having changed. I remember what you said somewhere, right? That 200,000 or 300,000 scooters you're going to place by 2025. I remember that. See, I follow you quite well. I like and that means that you would have made a lot of difference.
Oh yeah, millions of kilos of carbon.
Correct. जैसे उसमें Blue Smart में भी दिखता है every time you take a ride, right? So I think all of us, once we have a mission, our job becomes less of a job and more of something that we are doing for our own life. Yeah. That's the thing. And third is, it's, you know, entrepreneurship is very simple. It's not rocket science. I mean, of course there are terms that you are explaining through your stuff and all that, but essentially बहुत simple है कि एक धंधा बनता है जिसमें पहले यूजर्स आते हैं, फिर उनसे हम पैसे कमाते हैं, और फिर जितने इन्वेस्टर्स से हम पैसा रेस करते हैं उनको वो पैसा वापस करना पड़ता है विद अ रिटर्न. और इसीलिए वो एक सिंपल स्ट्रक्चर है. वो जब तक वो बहुत लोग ये भी नहीं सोचते हैं कि आप जब पैसा रेस करते हो, चाहे हम दोनों ने मिलके जितना भी हमने रेस किया है 40-45 मिलियन, वो हमें वापस करना है 8-10x. वो एक इजी प्रेशर नहीं, ऐसा नहीं कि वो पैसा बैठ लेके हम बैठ गए हैं और इन्वेस्टर्स आर गोना सिट एंड वेट फॉर अस टू नॉट ग्रो द मनी. सो या दैट इज द स्ट्रक्चर.
ग्रेट. आई थिंक क्योंकि 7-8 साल से बिजनेस बना रहे हो, राइट? तो मेरे लास्ट 2 क्वेश्चन यही है कि पहला तो ये कि सबसे बड़ी लर्निंग क्या रही है एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप की? मतलब क्या ऐसा ग्लेयरिंग लर्निंग रही है कि जो आप शेयर करना चाहोगे, which could possibly enlighten others or blow someone's mind? कुछ है ऐसा?
Yeah, मेरा, so I have never thought and I don't understand B2B business, like what you're building, or many other such businesses, Clever Tabs or so many other businesses. SaaS businesses मुझे नहीं समझ में आता. मेरे को आज तक नहीं, मेरे को समय नहीं मिला समझने का. मैं यूज करता हूँ, we use their product, but I don't know how people build this business, and it's a very tough and a very different business, but much better business from a revenue perspective and scaling of revenue. Revenue perspective, I'll not call it scaling of revenue. मुझे B2C businesses समझ में आते हैं. Zomato, Paytm, Dipinder, विजय, ये लोग मेरे इंस्पिरेशन है लाइफ में, और ये सब समझ में आता है. तो मेरा एक शुरू से एक, जिसको कहते हैं ना, एक अंडरलाइन थीम है रूटर का इन 7 years, if somebody asks me, which is that we always imagined Router to be a technology company, a product technology company. जिसका मतलब है कि कोई भी प्रॉब्लम, कोई भी फीचर, कुछ भी हमें बनाना है ना, if technology cannot solve that problem or build that feature, hiring more number of people will not be able to do it. Right. So for us, it's very simple that anything that you're building in Router, or for that matter any B2C company, agar usme technology is not helping you scale, then it's not a sustainable business. Then it will never grow beyond a point. And it will, like, lot of, like, if you look at edtech companies में comparison देख लो, जो बहुत resources led business बना रहा है उसके अलग challenges हैं, जो technology led business बना रहा है उसका अलग advantage है. तो हम भी वैसे ही सोचते हैं कि feature should scale the business and or technology should scale the business and not people.
And that's
so
a fundamental. Like,
it's a fundamental that I think I'm a big fan of tech-led businesses, and any business that is built on a strong tech, even yours and many other such businesses, will have a much better chance of surviving good times and bad times than a business which is built on ops or lot of human resource and all of that.
And that's the fundamental of a startup. वो startup जो world मतलब बहुत सारे SMEs हैं, तो उन्हें startups को 100 करोड़ की funding मिल रही है, हम तो 100 करोड़ का profit बना रहे हैं, but क्यों मिल रही है? Because there's a technology layer which will use this 100 crores to make this a 10,000 crore business.
Exactly.
Right? That is why they are getting funding.
Exactly. So the difference between SME business or any other business is कि जो technology use करेगा वो scalable business बना सकता है, जो technology नहीं use करेगा वो scalable business नहीं बना पाएगा. ये मेरी सबसे बड़ी learning है. हमारे लिए सबसे important technology है, सब कुछ उसके बाद आता है. जो हमारा प्रोडक्ट है, जो हमारा ऐप है, वो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है. उसके ऊपर सब कुछ है, कंटेंट, ग्रोथ, रेवेन्यू, सब कुछ उसके बाद आता है. अगर वो प्रोडक्ट अच्छा नहीं हुआ तो वैसे ही कुछ नहीं कर पाओगे.
No, solid learning for everyone. Build tech businesses, guys. Now the last thing is a rapid fire.
Oh no.
ये एक नया एडिशन है.
वापस we are in
बहुत ही quick
coffee
one.
with Karan. We are with literally we are having coffee with Akash. Yes.
Right. तो simple चीजें हैं. Which is your favorite movie which inspires you the most?
So there are many movies. I'm not a big movie buff, but मेरे लिए वही है because you know so Pursuit of Happiness is my all-time favorite movie for no other reason but it's a great acting, great script,
amazing,
real life story, and of course extremely inspirational. I'm also quite romantic at heart, so मुझे वो DDLJ से लेके आज तक की ये जवानी है दीवानी, ये सब all ये जवानी है दीवानी है जिंदगी में मेरी दीवानी are very travel movies. Right, so I like them because of their travel thing. And then I love I absolutely love MS Dhoni as a movie. That movie, you know, अभी वो re-release हुई है कुछ दिन पहले.
अच्छा.
और मैंने दोबारा जाके थिएटर में देखा है. अभी 3 हफ्ते पहले की बात है. Yeah.
Your favorite book?
So again, many books. I've been reading a lot of autobiographies and biographies since I was in school. I'm a decent reader. I used to be an avid reader before Instagram came in. But अभी लेकिन मेरी सबसे फेवरेट बुक है ना, एक बुक कॉल्ड जॉनथन लिविंगस्टन सीगल. इट्स बाय रिचर्ड बार्कर, व्हिच इज ऑल अबाउट फ्लाइट. वो पता नहीं, वो मैंने बहुत बचपन में पढ़ी थी या थोड़ा लेट पढ़ी थी, बट बहुत ज्यादा अच्छी बुक. वो you can read it in 1 hour. There are 2 books you can read in 1 hour. Both have a very deep meaning in life. One is Jonathan Livingston Seagull by Richard Bach, और एक जो एरिक सेगल की लव स्टोरी है. और एक तीसरी मुझे बहुत अच्छी लगती है, अगेन 1 hour read, is Who Moved My Cheese. Again a book that will, you know, if you are not able to adapt to change in life, just read Who Moved My Cheese. It will always help you adapt to a change in life.
Solid 3 1 hour books.
1 hour
amazing,
books.
Amazing. What is the punchline that you are called for in office? मतलब ये punchline आपसे relate करते हैं office वाले?
यार so there is no like, you know, ऐसे कोई punchline नहीं है, तकिया कलम भी नहीं है मेरा, ऐसा भी वो नहीं है, but मेरा एक basic फंडा ही होता है that I always ask myself and everybody in the team that play the long game. I always say this. Even currently our industry has gone through a lot of ups and downs. पैसा startup winter आ गया, again you're on a back foot, right? So I always say play the long game. तो जिंदगी को टेस्ट मैचेस की तरह खेलना चाहिए is what my fundamental in life is. And therefore I say this, वो धोनी मूवी से एक लाइन है जो मेरा actually, if you open my Twitter, it's the first pin tweet which basically says that बॉल को मेरिट पे खेलो और फिर देखो. तो I always believe जैसी भी बॉल आ रही है ना, वो बोलते नहीं उसमें MS धोनी को कि अगर हाफ वॉली आ रही है तो ड्राइव करो, बाउंसर आ रहा है तो डक करो, kind of thing. So I always believe that every day will be different. जिस तरीके की बॉल आ रही है उस तरीके से खेलो. So बॉल को मेरिट पे खेलो फिर देखो is actually the pinned tweet on my Twitter. More or less that is what I tell my team, that play the long game. Things will figure out for themselves.
Who's your most favorite star? मतलब जिसको आप
Yeah, so obviously I love sports. So बड़े सारे लोग sports में have inspired me. Like Roger Federer and Tendulkar are two people who have been part of my growing up years for different reasons. Their value system, the way they play, the way they are humble, all of that. Lately, in the last 5-7 years, ever since I've understood Dhoni's life, I have a huge regard for him. For no other reason but the way he puts everything in front of him and does it. So Dhoni, like people will not know me as a big Dhoni fan, but lately I've started to really imbibe what I see from him. And besides that, then there are a few entrepreneurs that I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Vijay. बहुत ज़्यादा मतलब मेरे को काफ़ी सही लगता है वो अलग लेवल में बंदा है. I also really like Dipinder quite a lot. I mean, I know his working style and all people have, but I think Dipinder was perhaps the first founder I saw who used to write amazing blogs on his product since last 6-7 years. मुझे याद है जब उन्होंने पहली बार डिलीवरीज लॉन्च की थी, उन्होंने एक बहुत 2015-16 पता नहीं कब किया था, उन्होंने एक बहुत लंबा ब्लॉग लिखा था. सो he the way he articulates his new launches into a blog or a tweet, very few people do it that well. So I'm a big fan. And the way Vijay can inspire a generation of people with his उनका एक वीडियो है ना, वो अपनी तो जैसे तैसे वो वाला, तो उसके कुछ दिन बाद ही इन्वेस्टेड इन अ बिजनेस. आई रिमेंबर. तो मैं तो बहुत बड़ा फैन हूं. व्हेनेवर आई मीट हिम आई एम लाइक I'm just in awe of him. Yeah.
So, बहुत सारे नाम तो वैसे ले लिए हैं, but who's your still biggest inspiration in life? There is one. If you can take one name.
Yeah, it's very difficult, but very difficult. Yeah. But if you have to really figure it out, then I think nobody like Roger Federer. I think not just the way he played and not just he didn't win the maximum tournaments or whatever, but I think the way he conducts himself. There's a lot of commonality between, it's not with Tendulkar, but a lot of commonality between Roger Federer and Shah Rukh Khan. It's not the fact that they are good at their play, it's because of it's the way they are with people. When they interact with people, wo aap kaise ho na, that leaves a lot of things. So one name में तो यार Roger Federer any day.
I think मेरे को भी शाहरुख खान, while a lot of people say that I like Shahrukh Khan, but it's not because of the movies that I like.
Not at all.
It's because of the way that he conducts himself, the way he talks, and the way that he has a very nuanced answer. That is.
I have worked with him for 2.5 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he was brand ambassador of Dish, and we used to work together a lot, and we used to know each other decently well. You won't remember me now, but I had the opportunity of working with him for 2.5 and spending a lot of time with him.
अच्छा.
यार वो अगर किसी भी रीजन से 5 घंटे भी लेट सेट में आएंगे ना, a lot of stars enter, right, and people are in awe and all that. वो अलग feeling होती है. But when Shahrukh enters, he'll make everybody feel as if it's okay, that he's here, and his eyes will apologize to people saying that यार फंसा हुआ था, whatever is the reason, and then he'll put in his 8 hours में जब उनका काम होता है, वो ऐसा डेडिकेट होके काम करते हैं. शाहरुख इज अनदर लेवल. आई थिंक फ्रॉम इंडिया में अगर किसी ने हैंडल किया है ना their relationship with fans, nobody has done it better than Shahrukh. बाकी सब लोग उसको एप करते हैं, किया तो उन्होंने ही है.
He's amazing. And he's natural.
Very. I don't think like उसके पहले और बाद में nobody has handled the relationship with a fan as well as Shahrukh.
But this one is only for you because you are from the gaming industry. Which is your favorite digital game that you spend your time with?
Yeah, I'm again sports games. I play a lot of sports games. So my favorite is tennis games. Like tennis के अभी ना इधर कुछ अच्छे PS3 तक there were a couple of good games. Topspin, Virtua Tennis used to be good. Topspin used to be a very good game. So again, different codes, different feeling and all that. I also play a lot of FIFA. So ये दोनों गेम मुझे बहुत अच्छे लगते हैं. But with my son, we are playing a lot of GTA 5, and we are learning battle royale games. So with him, I'm learning Fortnite, and learning couple of games. So मैं उसके साथ खुद भी सीख रहा हूँ. In full honesty, I don't know how to play BGMI or Free Fire well, but this year I'm planning to really learn it. Now that the game is back and the industry is back.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Piyush. Amazing session. I don't know. I think we've spent a lot of time.
No idea.
More than usual, but it was so much fun talking to you and learning more about you.
No, yeah, I think it's all about the discussion. I think your questions and the way and you gave me a lot of time to answer. बहुत कम लोग because but thank you so much seriously. I think as I said there are few things you asked which nobody has asked, and I hope someday I have the courage to do something like this.
Why not?
Call you in my podcast and ask you few questions. अभी तो इतनी
yeah.
हिम्मत नहीं है, but किसी दिन सीख के I'll come and then do it. And thank you so much.
I would love to do that sometime, and we'll keep doing more of this.
Yeah.
आप तो unveil कर रहे हो अपनी gaming industry. We'll get you back again. Thank you so much once again.
Thank
for
you.
joining.
Thank you. Thank you
this
so much.
podcast. Yeah.